Hi, friends, and welcome back to Storytime with Tally Ray. I am so excited for today's episode because I have been laughing hysterically going through our petty stories, and it's under the Reddit subcategory. I don't know what it's called, but it's under petty revenge. And the first one I read is legit like the issue with the drama that's been going on outside my door, and I am here for it. So get ready for that. We'll start with that in just a minute. I do want to make a comment about my Minecraft world because I'm still just in shock after like doing the whole April Fool's thing, and then I got fooled. Ha ha. Thanks, Minecraft. But when I did my thing for the next day, when I started the new world, it actually put me in a village. I don't think I've ever had that happen. Like, I've been near a village, but I've never just had a random seed put me in a village. So I will link the seed of that Minecraft world if you are like trying to learn how to play. A little history there. I decided to start playing because my son at the time was 5 and he wanted to know how to play. And this is like on an Xbox 360. He's 10 now, but so it's not like it was that long ago. But I had to learn how to play so he could play because he would get so frustrated because he didn't know how to do anything. So I learned how to play. And so that's why I play now. And I still, like, it's so funny. You'll watch me on the videos, like, jump a few times. It's because it's not doing what I want it to do. I am used to playing on the PS4, and I am so much more confident on a controller than I am in the computer world. So I should probably have my son teach me how to connect a controller, because then maybe my life would be a skosh easier. But that being said, so our topic today, again, is just the petty life of the people around us. It's petty revenge is what they call it, but it's just being petty. But it is good for a laugh, so I hope you're having a great day. I hope this makes you laugh, and let's get started. Our first story is titled, Neighbors Keep Parking in Front of Our Gate. Little disclaimer, I do not condone any physical violence against vehicles. There might be some in this story, but it's just minor, it sounds like. So here we go. This habit of theirs became quite annoying because we had to ask them to move every time, especially when running late on appointments. They were pretty stubborn, though, and refused to park anywhere else, much less their own garage. Now, our gate offered minimal visibility. I cannot see who's outside. They cannot see if somebody is about to open a gate. So one time, after making sure their car was parked in front of the gate, I let loose the gate, pushing it as hard as I possibly can. They never parked in front of the gate again. Now you might think, well, that's not funny, but this parallels into what we have been dealing with a neighbor of ours. So when we moved into our house, it was just our house and my cute little old lady neighbor. She's like 88, gonna be 89 soon. I love her. And it was just us. It was all fields around us. It felt like we were kind of in the country, even though we're smack dab in the middle of the city. I guess it's a town. It's not really a city, let's be honest. But anyway, so construction came in. Now we have all these houses around us. We have duplexes. And for the most part, our neighbors are pretty cool. Well, we had some people move in across the street from us, basically. And now also, when we moved in, it was just a dirt road. Now there's a road, there's curbs, there's sidewalks, regular city living, wahoo. But we have a neighbor who had somebody else, I guess, subletting from him. I don't know. But he has all these big vehicles because he does contracting for a cable company. We'll just call it a cable company. I don't think it's cable, but it's some kind of networking type thing. Now, he started parking his truck, his Ford F-350 truck, right across from our driveway. So it has been a pain in the butt to try to back in. Like, we can't get our trailer out. I mean, it's just been one thing after the other. Now, we've talked to the guy, like, hey, could you not block the whole area? Originally our mailbox was out there and he would literally park right in front of our mailbox. So we wouldn't get our mail, which I don't care. I get everything via email. My neighbor does not use any form of internet whatsoever. She uses her phone and the mail system to get information across. And I'm very protective of my wonderful neighbor. So I would talk to him. He'd still park there. Like, the guy was literally cool to talk to. Like, I still really enjoy talking to him. But he is so inconsiderate when it comes to parking. At one point, he parked so far forward, almost into the intersection, and we still have construction going all around. I watched a dump truck, like, come within inches of taking his bumper off. So the next time I saw him, I was finally like, hey, dude, you really are going to want to back your truck up. Like, people are practically taking off the bumper. Like, the fact you haven't been hit yet shocks me. And he was just like, oh, like he was completely clueless. We're just going to call him Clueless because I'm pretty sure that's what he is. So he and the guy he lives with, I guess, got in a disagreement about who pays rent. And the other guy that lives there, also total chill, really like the guy. And his daughter's really nice too. And so the daughter is the one, I believe, that's on the lease. And she's the one that goes and makes the payments. She's like the one that takes care of it all. Well, Clueless over here is gone a lot because of the contracting business. He works all over the United States. This is just one of his home hubs, I guess. I guess he's from Georgia. We are not in Georgia. We are far, far, far west. We're west of Georgia. I don't know why I almost said east, but we are far, far west. Almost as far west as you can go. So he's all, hey, or the daughter's like, hey, it's time to pay rent. I need your part of the rent and the bills. And Clueless over here is like, dude, I don't have to pay you. I haven't been here all month. It's like, dude, you still rent the room. You still let the guys who contract from you use your room. You need to pay rent. And like, I guess he got all in a huff that she was being, quote unquote, disrespectful. This is what I'm hearing from the dad, my neighbor. We'll call him Frank, because really he likes to be quite frank. And he was just like, I don't get it. Why was he being so disrespectful to my daughter? She wasn't being disrespectful. She just wanted to get the rent, because that's what you do when you're a good neighbor. He's so inconsiderate. I'm like, that's a word I've used about him quite a few times. So the guy moves out. Clueless moves out, like just suddenly at night when Frank wasn't home, just gone. But he leaves his stupid truck parked out on the road across the street from my driveway. And I'm like, so when I read this thing, it says, I pushed that gate open so hard. I'm like, you don't know how many times I have wanted just to gas it and be like, oops, maybe you shouldn't park there. But I've never done that, nor will I, because I like my cars. Well, I like one of my cars. The rest are my husband's. We have a lot. We won't go there. So here's where the petty part comes in. One of the duplexes next to this duplex came up for rent. And guess who rented it? Mr. Clueless himself. He wouldn't pay whatever it was, $800 a month to share a duplex, and now he's paying like $2,700 a month. And I don't know if it's just to spite this guy or what. The Frank over here is like, why would you do that? Why would you? That's just disrespect. I'm like, I don't know, man. And I get it. There are two sides to every story. Well, technically there's three, and then there's a bunch of outside perspectives. There's one side, there's like Frank's side, there's Clueless's side, and then there's the truth. I don't know what the truth is. I do know that since he has rented out that other duplex on the far side of the two duplexes next to my house, his truck is in his driveway, and all of his like contracting vans, he has room to park them, and he is no longer in my hair. But yeah, I think he's being pretty petty to rent out 2 doors down. But so that's my fun story. Our next issue at hand is also a little bit of advice because it's how to make scammers or spammers stop calling you. Me personally, I got a Google Pixel and I've never had the issue again because it screens all my phone calls, and I can even, like, if I don't recognize a number, I can just hit screen call and it like gives me a text representation of what the audio is saying, and it's so great. I'm not sponsored by Google, but oh my gosh, I love my phone. So here we go. So, a while back, my brother-in-law was talking about messing with scam or spam calls, and it inspired me of a way to get back at these scammers, and hopefully they won't call me for a while. What's worse than a scam or spammer calling your phone multiple times a day? Someone at your front door trying to convert you. So every time an unknown caller popped up on my phone and I had nothing else to do, like driving to an appointment or something like that, I'd pick up the phone and wait or press whatever buttons, safely of course, to get a real person. They'd start their spiel about being some kind of fraud department, and then, in my deep southern accent for effectiveness, I'd act surprised and then say, "Now, before we get started, hon, with this, have you accepted our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ into your soul?" Nothing against Christians. I was raised Christians, but regardless of religion, there's nothing more uncomfortable than having a religion of any kind forced on you. 9 times out of 10, there's a brief pause before they hang up on me. In the rare 1 out of 10 case, they either try to play along or try to continue their script. If it's the first, relentlessly bug them for their favorite psalm and how they plan to spread the word with their mighty communication powers. If the second, be relentless. After all, you have to make sure they're dealing with someone with true godly values. Anyways, hope this fits here, because laying on the guilt for that 1 out of 10 that the sinners will pay in the fires has usually been the absolute breaking point for a lot of them. I genuinely think I'm on their do not call list, because I do not think I've had a bizarre call like that in about 3 to 4 months now. I will say I still get spam phone calls sometimes. I'm on the do not call list, but they break through. I don't know. So, but for a while I was getting, like, somebody sold my number to like 7,000 different avenues, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Come on. So I started answering the phone in the most monotone, like, just, we're gonna say I'm from Georgia. I'm not from Georgia. I'd pick it up with, so whatever your state you're from, you just pick it up, Georgia Fraud Department, and then just pause. And I will never forget one time, because I used to get these unknown phone calls, probably from India somewhere. That's what it sounded like. And it was always about my computer. And I'd be like, "Oh, well, I'll have my husband look at that when I get home." "Oh, no, ma'am. We can do it for you right here." I won't try to mimic their accent. I try to sometimes. It sounds horrible. I'm like, "No." And one time I had a guy yelling at me. I'm like, "Why are you yelling at me? You're the one that said I had a problem. I'll wait till my husband can get here." Like, I almost fell for it the first time. But there was one time I kept getting the unlisted phone call. And I picked it up and I just went, "Fraud department." And I hear, "What?" And, "Fraud department, how can I direct your call?" Click. I never got another phone call from an unlisted number like that. So that's my advice. I like this. My brother-in-law also does stuff where he'll like start quoting Rick Astley or something. Like, he really has fun with it. I'll have to find some of his and read those maybe on another petty episode. Our next story comes from, I'm guessing, someone that's English or British, because it uses words like rubbish and lift, where I would say trash and elevator. But let's go. Person held up the lift, so I pressed the lift button on every floor on the walk down. I was about to take out a bunch of rubbish and press the button for the lift. Nothing happens for a few minutes, and I can hear people talking from the floor above where they must be holding up the lift. Press the buttons a few more times, which they must have heard because I could follow half their conversation. Still no movement in the lift. After a few more minutes, I get impatient, and I take the stairs instead. Then I manage to press the lift button on every floor whilst juggling my bin bags. By the time I made it down and had thrown all of my rubbish away, I got the satisfaction of seeing the lift stop at the last 2 floors and someone walking out with a very annoyed look on her face. That's pretty great. I've always been tempted when someone annoys me in the elevator to push all the buttons, kind of like on Elf, where he's like, ooh, it's a Christmas tree. But to do it on the way down, that's awesome. All right, I have one last petty revenge story for you. And this one, I sent a message to a friend of mine because I laughed so hard on this one. It's a good one. So you might not find it funny. I find it absolutely hilarious. So the title is Super Glue and Padlocks. Many years ago, when I went to a local community college for a course, if you wanted a locker to keep your stuff in, you had to bring a padlock and claim an empty locker. This was just common sense. Find an empty locker, and I stress empty, and then put your padlock on it. After a bit of a wait and walk round over the course of a couple weeks, stiff competition for lockers, I managed to secure a locker from an outgoing student, stuck my padlock on it, and all was good for a while. Until I went to my locker one day to find my stuff on the top of the locker, lock broken off and replaced by someone else's padlock. Cue petty revenge. Covertly stick a few drops of super glue, crazy glue in the US, I think, I've always called it super glue, in the keyhole and slip away. This locker happened to be right outside one of my classes, and it just happened that the person who returned to quote-unquote their misappropriated locker to gain access, I didn't go out and look, but we could all hear the ensuing frustration, shouts, shaking, battering about, and vain attempts to gain access to a very much now useless but locked solid padlock. I never glued any locks after that, and I'm sure the dude got his stuff out eventually. I would never have thought of this. Oh my gosh, I love some of the comments on this. One person said, I work at an engineering college, and the students are constantly losing the keys to their locker. One of our technicians has the big key, aka bolt cutters. Oh, that's so great. Sometimes things like this just annoy me. Why do people feel so entitled that they're like, well, I need a locker. This person probably doesn't use it that much, so I'm just going to just use it. I'll just get their lock off. It's like, seriously? Who do you think you are? The nerve, the noive. So, yeah. I think that's all I have today. Yeah, just some petty. The neighborhood thing just cracks me up. The one with the gate. That had to have been my favorite today. Although this one's a close second. Like I said, my neighbor's pretty chill. I haven't even talked to him since he moved in the duplex a couple houses down. He's gone a lot. So I'm assuming everything's cool, but I'll run into him eventually and say hi, because I'm pretty friendly with my neighbors. They're all neat people in their own right. But, a couple disclaimers. I don't recommend putting glue in locks. I don't recommend any kind of vehicular damage. You can get in trouble. So I hope you have a wonderful day. This was Story Time with Tally Ray, and I hope to see you on our next episode. Have a great day.